Hey everybody, this is Steve with Technoformer. Today we're looking at the mid-2015 15-inch MacBook Pro with the integrated graphics. This is not the one with the dedicated Radeon graphics. This is the off-the-shelf configuration with 16 gigs of RAM and a 256 gigabyte flash storage. The outside of the 2015 MacBook Pro is exactly the same as the previous generation machines, from the material, which is the brushed aluminum, to the ports, with the exception of the forced trackpad, which we'll talk about later. Along the left of the machine, we have a MagSafe power connector, two Thunderbolt ports, a USB 3.0 port, and a combo headphone microphone jack. On the right side of the machine, there's another USB 3.0 port, full-size HDMI, and a SDXC card reader. The display on the unit is the beautiful Retina display that we've come to expect, with the max resolution on the internal monitor of 2880 by 1800 at 220 ppi. On an external monitor, you can get a resolution of 3840 by 2160. The default scaling resolution on the internal display is 1440 by 900, and although that sounds a little bit low, I found myself leaving it at that default scaling resolution for the majority of the time. The addition of the Force Touch trackpad may seem a bit gimmicky at first. That is until you try it out. It's actually a very solid addition to the hardware using magnets and haptic feedback instead of a physical click. And to be honest, if I didn't know there wasn't a physical click, it would be hard to tell. It definitely has that satisfying tactile feel. One of the benefits of the new trackpad is the ability to tap and give a little more pressure to open a secondary function, like doing a quick search on a word in Safari. As more applications support that secondary clicking, I can definitely see it becoming something very useful. On day-to-day tasks and even some basic gaming, this machine tore through everything we threw at it, from basic tasks like browsing the web and consuming media, to heavier things like 3D rendering and video editing. Although this is not a gaming machine, we actually got some pretty impressive results with some games both native and in Windows via Boot Camp. I'll post a link to those videos. We got some really good results with our various benchmarking, and again, take benchmarking with a grain of salt because it's a good marker for seeing differences between different models, but in reality, some of these increases that we saw on this generation versus the previous generation are not even going to be noticeable. The new flash storage is incredibly, almost ridiculously fast. In our disk speed test, we got results of 1100 write and 1800 read, and again, that is a significant improvement over the previous generation, but with speeds like that, you probably won't even see the difference over the previous generation unless you're doing something that has a lot of disk reading and writing. The Geekbench testing results yielded an average of about 3103 for single core and 11727 for multi-core. When we ran our Cinebench test, we actually ran it several times both while recording and without recording. We noticed that the recording software actually did have a significant impact on the results that we got. While we're recording, we got an average of about 26 frames per second for OpenGL and 545 CB for the CPU. While not recording, we got an average of about 32 frames per second and about 589 CB CPU. So we did have a significant increase without that recording software. So all in all, the mid-2015 MacBook Pro is every bit as good as you'd expect. But if you're currently using a previous generation Pro, there's really not that much of an improvement to warrant the upgrade. If you're using an older Pro or an older Air and looking for a more powerful upgrade, this would definitely be a good machine to look at. But you may also want to look online because there's some places that you can get a refurbished previous generation Pro with the dedicated graphics for about the same price as the one that we're looking at without the dedicated graphics. If you're doing 3D work or gaming, that dedicated graphics is really going to make all the difference in the world, so you want to spring for that one for sure. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least informative. If so, please like, subscribe, and comment, and come visit us at technoformer.com. Thanks a lot.